Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the CDL podcast channel. In this episode today, it's a big one. It's major three predictions. Doing the Wordle to start off, as you can see by the screen. Going to talk a little bit about the matches from this past weekend, but it's going to be a pretty heavily focused on major predictions for this episode. So if you guys enjoy this one, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on the audio platforms, drop a follow, drop a 5-star review. Brock, we're jumping into the Wordle. I can't believe, though, before we get into that, and your first guess, I can't believe that we're on major three.
I know. Time's flying with these majors. It seems like.
Yeah, it's absurd. I still feel like we're like I don't know. The off season always seems way longer than the season, even though technically I think they're like almost 6 months, 6 months like
Yeah.
split normally. But I swear the off season seems so much longer because we're just dragging through
Hmm.
content and like, oh, what do we do this week? What do we do this week? And then like you get to the season, it's like, okay, we're excited for predictions, and all of a sudden, bang, we're about to be in the last stage of the year.
Yeah. Jeez, man.
It's absurd. It should be a banger though. I mean, we're at the point here where like we're looking at dire straits for some teams. I mean, Minnesota unable to secure a winners bracket, like they're in a really, really, really tough position. Same with Cloud9. They are like fighting for their lives this weekend. Uh in terms
Yep.
of, keeping any hope alive for champs. I guess anything is possible if you win major four for those teams based on where they are, but looking tough. Um
Yeah.
We'll
Sure
talk about
is.
that a little bit more when we get to the bracket. And Brock, are we going with our normal first guess, or are we switching it up today for Wordle?
Ooh, and I think we're switching it up.
All right.
I think I want to go with insight today.
Insight's a solid one. There's no rings there, but a decent amount of wins, few wins. Okay, so it's a not a player from England, age 25, no rings, less than 5 wins, hasn't played for Toronto. So I think we should go with a US player, like a
25.
Reese Vivid. He's about that age.
I'm down.
Okay, so no wins, 25, but not from the
Yeah.
US either. And wow, hasn't played for a lot of teams because Vivid has a lot of teams on his resume, and this dude
Is it
never was
Abuza?
teammates. And Abuza is he? Yeah, he's like 25, right? And he's from Belgium, right?
Yeah.
That's a good. I'm gonna guess that. I like that guess. Oh, he's 24.
Oh, he's 24.
And that was actually a good guess too because they
0
hadn't
wins, no
played for either of those
rings.
teams. Um, yeah, zero
Oh,
wins, no rings. Not from the U.S., Belgium, England. It could be one of the Miami guys, one of the Spanish players. I feel
is
like
it?
Metals is about that
Is it?
age, maybe.
Isn't it Super 25?
I feel like he was maybe. Let's guess him. That'll get this whole Spain thing. Okay, it's not a Spanish player either. Oh my god.
Oh,
Canadian player?
24 too.
Should we do the
Yeah.
classic guess to get us somewhere? He's Canadian and he's played for a million teams. ASIM.
Yeah.
I know
Let's
it's
do
not
it.
ASIM, but he does have one win, but at least maybe it will like get us somewhere. Dude,
Who is
not
this
from
player?
Canada either. Is it one of the Saudi players?
I
King
ca
Abadi, your boy?
Is he 25?
I don't know. Let's guess him. Oh my
Let's
god.
try.
It was your boy. You
King
should have
of
voted for him.
body.
It
Oh,
was your boy.
I should have known,
You might be the biggest King of Body stan on YouTube. We should have just went with it first for the
man.
culture. King of Body.
Get him back
I
in the
actually think
league.
I might be just completely lying right now, but I swear I saw something about King of Body actually being like a pretty good player so far in challenges. Like I think I saw he was in like the .9 ish range and was actually playing like pretty well.
That's pretty
I could be
good.
completely lying to you right now.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm all for it. Get him back in the
uh,
league.
I'm pulling the bracket up on the screen, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I first let's talk about some of the matches from this past weekend. I mean, once again, we're out of the qualifier stage, so not like a ton that I really want to like deep dive into the matches, but like a few big talking points in terms of like we had a player play his first match and all that. So maybe wanted to talk about that a little bit and like the way the standings shook out. Carolina hung on to that last spot. It was funny because we were talking about like, well, Cloud9 needs some wins to make it. Vegas needs some wins to make it. Rocker need wins. None of them got it. We ended up actually only like the 2 win tiebreakers ended up not mattering because we only had 8 teams hit the
Mhm.
2 wins. So it didn't end up mattering at all. In fact, Ravens got lucky. They literally did nothing to earn their spot this weekend. They got 3 0'd and they still were able to hang on because none of those other teams
Yep.
were able to secure a victory, which sucks for them because like literally if Vegas uh, C9. Well, C9 wouldn't have because map count wouldn't have been in their favor. But if Vegas or Minnesota would have just gotten one win on the board this weekend. They would have secured that eighth spot instead of Carolina, but unable to get the job done there.
Yep.
On Friday, we saw Miami fall in their first loss of the split to Toronto. I wouldn't say by any means like a terrible loss. Toronto's a very good team. They're probably a top four team right
Yep.
now still.
Mhm.
Um, it was a bad series for Metals. Overall, everybody else on the team was pretty good, but it's kind of it's the weakness of Heretics shining its head through. I would say. Would you agree with that? Like
Yep.
Super is probably a little more consistent or a lot more consistent than Lucky. We know the SMG duo we talk about all the time. They're a great SMG duo, but Metals was just wasn't good enough from him in the match.
Yeah. These are like the type of games that he sometimes has, and it's gonna cost him.
Yeah, it's the downfall of Heretics. I still think to this day it's the downfall of Heretics. Metals, I feel like is a little bit more of a consistent performer and maybe has a little more pop off moments than Lucky. But at the end of the day, it is the weakness of this team, and it probably will continue to be a weakness of this team. Like it still is what makes me just wish Vickle
Yep.
was still around because Vickle, not like he's some superhuman player that's just instantly going to make the Heretics start winning events or something, but like just a little bit more consistent, a little bit more pop off potential. And I really feel like this team at Vickle just they could have like a run where all of them get hot and you never know what could happen.
Yeah. Man, just think about that Vigo, like you said, top 3, even, potentially even winning a major.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Who knows what the potential could be if they're all clicking? Would be certainly higher, but still, this team, this Miami Heretics team, like they got. I mean, it's always a tough draw because either way, you're likely going to have to play Faze or Thieves in the second round of winners. Like no matter where you fall, and they're going to have to play Thieves if they do win. I mean, and that's saying if they win, they play Toronto
Mhm.
in round one. So that is definitely not an easy win. I mean, we see it here. They lost to him online. Like, definitely not a guarantee that Heretics, advance in the bracket. But I will say, like, I think a Sunday run is possible for them if they're able to, get that round one win, get to top six guaranteed, fall down, maybe win a match, and find themselves on Sunday. It's certainly possible. But on the side of Toronto in this match, super even across the board. Really, really good to see not inside, sorry, CleanX get 101 kills on the board, many more kills than anybody else in the series. And
Love
uh,
that.
CleanX has been a little bit up and down this year, and it's kind of like always. CleanX has always had his ups and downs in a lot of seasons, but I mean, this team, CleanX is playing this well. They can beat anybody.
Yep. Fully agree.
And Brock, the team that we love to pick against, Boston, 3-0 Cloud9. I mean, this Cloud9 team is
They
just
couldn't win a map.
this series. I mean, the fact that they won two maps off Vancouver later in the weekend is crazy because I'm going to pull that match up because I'm skipping over the last match on Friday. I mean, the Battle of LA isn't even a battle anymore. So we'll skip over that one. But
Yeah,
uh,
that's not nothing.
that series, that breach Cloud9, like, that has got to be the best Purge's POV has ever looked. Like, he was frying them. Like, the map won
1.53 KD.
35 and 21. The search, whatever, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the respawns. And then the control, 26 and 14. He went on like a 9 or a 10 streak in that control where he was just in flow state.
Yep.
Like, dude, he was just destroying them. Like, that's the best I've ever seen Purge's POV look.
Yeah, and then that's not normal for everyone that's wondering if they've just tuned in.
No, usually Purge is that dirty work, point 0.8, point 0.9 player, and he's not slaying like this. But I mean, if he is, as one of Boston's biggest haters, even though I have to stop doing it because they just continue to play well, especially online. As somebody who kind of just continues to not have too much faith in Boston, like I mean, if Purge is going to play like this, they can beat anybody.
Yep.
Like, granted, it's against a Cloud9 that is like mightily struggling this stage. Still, like if Purge is going to play like that, they have a chance to beat anybody. I think Boston is a team that, like, I think at this point they're probably making champs, and I think you probably have to throw them in, for sure your top 8, maybe your top 6, but I still just think when it comes down to it, when they play the top teams, I just don't see them on land being able to take out the top teams consistently enough.
Yeah.
Granted, they did beat Thieves last event, so I guess anything's possible.
Yeah, they did beat Faze, but let's see if they can, do it again to some of these other teams, I guess.
Yeah. And for Cloud9, nobody shot back in that Boston series. That was bad. And then in the
Red
Vancouver
carpet
series,
everywhere.
the Vancouver series, they win the 2 respawns to start out the series, and they lost in around 11 in that map too, uh, where they were also up 5-4.
Hmm.
So, like, you close out that search, win the control, all of a sudden this could have been a Cloud9 3-0 over a really good Vancouver team. Instead, they're unable to close out that round 11. They get up 2-1, and then they get handled in the last two maps, lose by 100 and 100 something points in the map four, and then lose 6-1 in the final search. And I mean, it's just a red carpet across the board for the squad, except Sib, who had a series. I mean,
Yes.
117 and 89, almost 15k damage, way more damage than anybody else in the lobby.
Yeah, yeah, like 4,000 more than his teammates, 5,000 more than his teammates, really.
Yeah. I mean, Brock, the date is April 21st, 2025. And I am saying right now, the Black Ops 7 OpTic roster is going to be Dashy, Sib, Joe Deceives, and shottzyy. That's
Sounds
my
like a
prediction.
good.
I
I like it.
think I saw something like a clip on stream of Sib saying like OpTic was his dream team or something.
Yeah, I think I saw
And
that.
I got to assume, unless they have him under contract and like lock him up, got to assume he's leaving. And it seems like the options are going to be limited. I think Sib is going to be OpTic Sib next year. But this Cloud9 team, unless a miracle happens, seems chalked. I mean, they've had an incredibly tough. It feels like they've had like the toughest schedule like the past couple months, and it doesn't get any easier at the major because, bro, guess who they play the loser of in losers round one?
They played loser of Vancouver Phase.
Yeah, so they play the loser of the match you absolutely don't want to play the loser of.
Yeah,
Because let's
that's a
be
tough
honest, like
draw.
the Thieves Ravens one, we figure it's gonna be Ravens, and Ravens, they're a solid team, but they're beatable. Ultra
Yep.
Miami is a tough one too because both of them are very good right now. So that's maybe one you don't want to have as much. Breach OpTic, they're Breach are they're 4-1 in this split, but they're certainly a beatable team, and OpTic in their current form are certainly beatable. But that's Surge Phase One. I mean, that's two of our top three, if not three, for sure, top four teams, depending where you rank Surge. But I mean,
Mhm.
that is a brutal draw for Cloud9.
Sure is, and, they need all the points they can get to, get to that champs race.
I mean, yeah, you're looking at the regular season standings now, and I mean, they're at 105, Optics in
Not
eighth
looking
at
good.
130. So, like, it's still possible if they make a deep run at the next two tournaments, but I mean, it would take a miraculous run because they're going to play either Falcons, Optic, or Breach, and that's only if they get through either Phase or Surge. So, like, I mean, I don't see them getting out of losers round one. I'll be honest. And even if they do, like, they're probably playing like Optic or Breach. And, like, that's not a guarantee. Like, they could beat those teams, but that's not a guarantee. And I don't even think they're gonna get there. So,
Yeah. This team most likely needs a change, but who knows at this point?
at this point, it's so late in the year, it's like, well, does a change do enough
Even
fast enough to,
yeah,
you know, to to get you at where you need to be? I don't really know.
yeah, it's a problem with them.
Second match on Saturday, Brock. Rocker need to win to make it into winners bracket, and they lose the two hard points in the search against Miami. It was a tough one from Kenny. He had a optic type of series from him.
Mhm.
Just did not shoot back in that map one, and just a rough series from him overall. Nobody on the team really played all that great. Uh, it's not too much positive to take from Rocker in this series, to be honest with you. Nero had an absolute stinker map for us, well, 9 and 23 on the protocol, but uh, this was a match that Miami was certainly the favorite going in. We picked with our cope and hope that Minnesota would make it into winners because we want to see them at champs. But doesn't seem like it's meant to be. Minnesota, they do get a tough path because I mean they probably play Ravens and losers round one now, and then they play probably either Miami or Ultra, depending on who loses in that matchup. So a pretty tough draw,
Yep.
I would say. Like it's going to be very hard. If Rocker get a top six, that's probably considered a success at this event, to be honest with you,
Mhm.
because
Right.
they're certainly an underdog to Miami and to Ultra.
Mhm. Yeah. It's tough
But
for them right now.
yeah, it's very tough. Um, but I mean, shout out to Miami. They continue to look really good. They fried Minnesota, and Minnesota, it's like they got to so many game fives. This is the first time they don't get to a game five. And I really thought like Kenny was looking so much better. I really thought Nero and Estriel, they were gonna continue to play really well. They were a talented sub duo, and I thought Gio, he's a shooter. Like I figured this team would start winning some matches. Unfortunately, like this could be so different. They lost how many round 11 game fives? Like at least two this stage. They lost multiple game fives, three of them. Uh,
Yeah.
One of them was a 6-4, but they lost two game five round 11. So it's like, I mean, you really thought that this team had something and we're gonna, push through and make it the champs. And it's certainly not over for them. They could have a big stage four, but just a brutal. like what could have been stage for Minnesota.
Yeah. It's just tough, all those game fives, gonna stack up and, maybe if some of those are wins, if you're looking a whole lot different.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see where they go at the tournament. Maybe I'll just full bias pick them to make a run. We're gonna do something different with the bracket this time though, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Um, Brock, the other match, I'm kind of I'm be honest, I'm skipping over LAG matches. I'm skipping over that match. Uh,
Yeah, LAG. Nothing to say.
Vegas though, Vegas Brock, they came out in that match against Faze. Xnit and Pred were roaring in the comms. Those two were frying in the map one. They dominate Faze 250 to 133. And then the next two maps, they don't win a round in search or control.
After that first map, I thought they definitely, had a strong chance with the momentum to, maybe win the search. And, maybe who knows, could win the series, but like you said,
I know.
life the next two maps, no wins.
I know. I like they look so good in that hardpoint. And I'm like, okay, like screw it. I mean, maybe they can find a way to win another map here, and all of a sudden they have two on the board, and they're gonna be up 2-1 and have a chance in the last two maps. And with the way that Faze has been struggling a little bit in hardpoint in this stage, like obviously over the course of the year they've been really good, but this specific stage the last few weeks, Faze has been struggling a bit in hardpoint. So
Hmm.
when Falcons dominate them in that map one, I'm like, okay, our Falcons gonna be able to win one of the next two maps. I didn't think they'd win the control either way, but I'm like, maybe they take a search. It's possible. But they don't win a round in either map, and then they have a chance. I mean, I really thought like at one point they were up 153 to 101 here on Hill 7,
Yep.
and that's when I kind of thought, hey, Falcons, maybe they can do it. And then from there on, when it was 153 to 101, Faze just go on a solid run. Next hill, they almost tied up, and then they take a big lead on Hill 10 and kind of just push away. And then Falcons are up 239 to 228, and they just broke down. Um, and Faze were able to take it, which is funny because Faze had a pretty similar hard point, or like later in the weekend against OpTic on that vault. Or
Yep.
like it looked like they were going to lose right at the end, and then the other team kind of just breaks down. But Falcons, a tough loss because if they were to get that one, they're sitting in winners bracket. Um, Even more heartbreaking for them. The first match on Sunday, they lose 3-2 to Boston. They get reverse swept to not make winners.
That's tough.
Yeah, especially after a close Skyline hardpoint win. Uh, wasn't that? Hang on. I don't know if I'm thinking of the wrong map. Yeah, I am thinking of the right map. They get out to just like a really big early lead, 79 to 12. Then it gets really, really close at the end. They get down 241 to 223, have a little comeback. I couldn't think of, for some reason, I was getting an OpTic map mixed up in my head. But they come back right at the end there and they win that. Then they 6-0 them in the search. And I'm thinking, Vegas to winners. Oh my God. It's going to
Hmm.
happen. Vegas to winners. And nope, they get reverse swept. And it's a game five round 11 too, which is really tough.
The heartbreaker after heartbreaker with this team.
Yeah, I mean, not that it matters in terms of champs, like champs implications, like they're not making champs, but like it'd be fun to have them in winners bracket to like just see if they could do something in just like an underdog story in winners bracket.
Yep.
Um, they do have a winnable first match though. I will say the loser of Boston versus OpTic is a winnable match.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Um, I guess last match, I don't Carolina. I mean, Rex has a tough one. I'm gonna give him a pass. His first match was against LA Thieves. I'll give him a pass.
Yeah,
You
it's
agree
just
with that one?
yeah, and Killers has not won basically a map all year to Thieves, so
Dude, I don't know why I went with the 3-2 Thieves. You said 3-0, and I was like, yeah, that's probably right. But I'm gonna say Rex comes in, gives them a little spark, and they win some maps. I don't know why I said that. This team, they're incapable of beating Thieves.
yeah,
I refuse to pick them to win a map against Thieves unless maybe I'll go 3-1 and I'll pick them in a search or something. But I
yeah,
refuse. I'm like trying to vow to myself that I will never pick them to win a map again because this team cannot beat Thieves. They can't do it.
yeah. Until we
Yeah.
see them win a map, I'm not picking other than a 3-0 against Thieves.
And guess who they play in round one of Major 3?
Yeah, that's just a tough draw. They gotta go
I
back and go,
feel
oh,
I feel so bad for them.
yeah.
My God, this is
I
just
bet
brutal.
I bet they have in their heads already. Oh well, here we go again for the sixth time already.
Yeah, I just it's just so tough. The match I want to talk about more from Sunday though is that OpTic versus Faze ended up not being as consequential for OpTic losing here because they ended up still making winners bracket anyways with the fact that like all the other teams couldn't clutch up. So,
Mhm.
it wasn't as consequential for OpTic. And to be honest, where they fell in terms of seeding, it probably worked out better for them, right? I mean, like, because
Yeah.
what they probably jumped up to like 4 or 5 range. Where would they have jumped up to if with a win? They would have jumped up because like Toronto has 4. They would have jumped up to Phase's spot. They would have jumped up to 6. So they would take, yeah, they would have jumped up because everybody else ahead of them has 4 wins. So with a win here, they would have jumped into Phase's spot. So they would have just like flipped with Phase.
Yep.
So they got a better draw because I'd much rather play Boston than Surge.
Yeah, I would definitely say so.
So losing here in obviously like for champs qualification, like OpTic needs wins. So like obviously it would have been better for them to win, maybe, but they get a better draw. Like they probably lose in winners round 2, even if they win winners round 1, but like they get a better draw playing Boston as opposed to playing Vancouver.
Yeah. Much better, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, Dashi was shooting in the series. They win the map 1. Once again, like Phase hardpoint struggles continue. Um, OpTic really fried them. Skies had a really good map 1. Then they lose a round 11. They lose a 3-1 control, and they lose a heartbreaker on the vault that they probably should have won. They're up 164 to 100 after hill
Mhm.
6, and they kind of trolled at the end. They had it going to that last hill, and they were up 244 to 232. They had like a weird on that last P4, they had a really weird like it took them so long to break. It felt like they just like lost the crucial kills right on like the end of the rotation from P3 to P4,
Yep.
and then FaZe was able to make a little bit of a comeback there and outscore them a little bit on that hill. And then OpTic had the lead going into the P1, and they just weren't able to break in. And FaZe closed it out. Like we said, didn't end up being too
Didn't
consequential for
matter
OpTic
at the
because
end, but
they end up making winners, but it matters a little bit in terms of they don't get the 10 points, but the trade off might be they might be able to secure like a top 6 or something in the tournament, so they might end up getting more points in the long run.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I not too much to say. I mean, OpTic beats him in a hard point. OpTic continues like I will say like compared to like going into last major where like with the team before they couldn't win a map and then Skies was a new player. I mean, they're at least competitive. They at least won a few matches in this split. I don't know.
Yeah. That definitely winning more competitive like you just said, but still
Yeah,
not
it's
enough.
just not like I mean you go up and down like the winner side. It's like obviously I'm still taking Thieves, Surge, Phase, Ultra, current form Miami. Probably you could even. I mean, we have so little faith in them, but you can certainly make an argument for Boston. I mean, you can make an argument truly that they're like your least likely team in winners bracket to win the tournament. I would argue that just because I think Ravens are the most guaranteed to lose in winners round 1. So I
Yeah.
think maybe OpTic are more likely than Ravens to win the tournament, and I would probably put them ahead of Breach more likely, but Breach are playing really good online, so you could certainly argue against that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a really weird, really really weird tournament coming up here, and we'll get into those predictions here. Um, we're gonna go ahead. I have the bracket up. We're going back to this style, Brock. We're going back to just like the Photoshop style
Let's
um,
do it.
on the major tournament here because I don't know. It looks so much better on the video.
Mhm. Yeah.
Looks a lot better in the video. And we're doing a different style here this time, so we'll see what this looks like going forward. But we're introducing a new member onto the podcast today. Um, so for our bracket, we couldn't decide. Like how Brock and I normally do the brackets. Like Brock will pick one, I'll pick one. We'll do two separate brackets. I think what we're gonna do this time, since we're gonna have 3 people predicting, we're just gonna put it up to a vote. So like Thieves, Ravens. If 2 of us pick Ravens and 1 picks Thieves, Ravens are moving on, and we're just picking the bracket based on the picks we made. And I think that's just the best way to go about it, in my opinion. So we're
Mhm.
gonna go like that, and then I think what I'm gonna do is like in the YouTube community posts. I'll maybe take a screenshot. Like, let's say Brock, for some reason, wants to pick Ravens over Thieves, because I'm assuming we're going to pick Thieves in that one. We'll post Brock's bracket. Probably I'll post it on Twitter and label it as Brock's, and then I'll um, post that on the YouTube community as well. And we'll just like, okay, this is Brock's bracket, this is my bracket, and then this is our new member here who we're about to introduce bracket, and then that way you can see the differences in terms of like, oh, if you hear somebody, you know, pick somebody else. That way you can get an answer uh, as to what it is. So Brock, we are going to jump into the bracket. I think we're, I don't know. You think we're gonna be pretty chalk in this one?
Um, I don't know. Maybe.
I feel like it's gonna be pretty chalk. I mean, like, I don't know. The toss ups are where like Boston and OpTic probably Miami Ultra, the middle of the bracket.
Yeah, Surge, Vancouver. I mean
All right.
Surge and Faze. Sorry, not Surge and Vancouver.
Yeah. I still call him Seattle. It's all right. All right, so we're jumping in here. We're gonna introduce our new member. We got our friend Brad, watches COD. A little bit less than us. We'll probably do more of an intro for him like next week when we talk about the matches, just because we want to not delay you all. We know you all come here to just watch our bracket, make fun of
Yep.
our picks. Because last major was brutal, Brock. You beat me like 7-5 or something in points. It was bad.
Yeah, it was not no bueno.
Yeah, it was bad. Our predictions were really bad. So we'll do this will be our prediction, our bracket, like as a podcast. See how much we know ball when we're voting, and then we'll have our individual brackets still to rank, just in case we differ on our picks at all. But we got Brad joining in here. Brad, maybe tell him just like a little bit about your history watching COD, and I'll maybe talk about why it could be a good perspective and something different for us here.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
I'm Bradley. I started watching COD like right around like the Black Ops 3 and like Infinity War, Infinite Warfare. Sorry, getting together here. But then I'd say I really locked in watching like right around like World War II. Um, kind of skipped Black Ops 4, which I know Ryan and Brock are gonna hate.
So bad.
Um,
That's it.
and then I
Good one.
locked back in on Cold War. So like Cold War and then like Vanguard are like two of my favorites. I loved watching those two games for sure. Greatest Call of Duty player of all time, Aqua. Sorry,
No, that's
haters hate.
lies. Actually, Aqua was disgusting, especially in the game that you started watching or BO3. Aqua
Yeah,
was nasty at BO3.
It makes
yeah,
Um,
sense why Brad would like Aqua in that game.
yeah, he was nasty in that game. He was the hard carry for their team, and their team was good.
yeah.
Yep.
Um, but Brad provides a little bit different perspective too, because like you guys know, Brock and I basically a lot of times we don't have that many disagreements in terms of takes because Brock and I we've been playing COD together for basically as long as I've been playing competitive.
Hmm.
We've been playing together like Black Ops 2 when we sucked. We were terrible. Like we didn't know what we were doing. We were like when we had made it to like plat division, we were like thought we were like the best players ever and we were like probably honestly not deserving of being in plat, let's be honest. Uh
Yeah.
and we watched like the same players, kind of grew up liking the same players, had the same perspective, and have like a bias. I feel like sometimes towards like the OG players, just because we've been watching for a while. Whereas I mean, Brad's been watching on and off since Black Ops 3, but like he said, more like really started watching heavily, like consistently, and like Cold War on. So really CDL era. I mean, I don't blame him. MW19 was a hellhole. Everybody skipped that game.
It was so bad,
Uh, I started the podcast during that, and I barely got through it because I hated watching it so much.
Man.
Uh, but I think it just provides a different perspective. Somebody who maybe doesn't have like as deep of a bag into the history is interesting because they don't have like a like in Brad's mind like attach hasn't really been that good in like the era that Brad has watched,
Yep.
which is interesting because like pre CDL he was very good and he's still in the CDL overall has been a good player, but like there are a lot of players out there that like even a guy like I don't know like a prestinni like in the CDL era, he had a pretty unsuccessful, uneventful career. A few event wins. I shouldn't say unsuccessful, but like pre CDL, he has a tournament win, like a crazy tournament win in IW, a ring. So it just provides a different perspective.
yeah. Like
Hmm.
the only reason why I know who Tommy is because I played him in an S&D tournament.
Yeah, and he's like an absolute OG of the EUs,
The
like one of the
legend of
EU
legends.
goats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but once again, a guy that he'd never played an active match. He was a substitute for Empire and MW19. Uh, so we're gonna do the bracket a little different in this one. It's gonna be just a straight up vote. If it, I mean, we don't have to worry about a tiebreaker. 2-1 votes, or 3-0, whatever it's gonna be, and that's how we're gonna move them on. So if somebody disagrees, we're just gonna showcase it in a bracket. So like I said in that first one, if we go 2-1 Ravens and I'm the person that picked Thieves, I for the love of God hope we don't do that. Uh, then I'm just going to post the brackets individual unless for some reason we agree on everything. I highly doubt that's going to happen because people like to pick upsets. Um, but let's start at the top. I mean, do we really need to discuss the Thieves Ravens one?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
3-0.
I mean,
Oh
they
wait.
can't. this
Oh,
team
we all
can't
weren't
beat 'em.
going with Ravens?
Uh,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Fortunately, not.
to go with Ravens. I would love to put my faith in Slasher and Tej because I like this team, but I like literally there isn't even an argument you can make.
No.
Like
Yeah.
some of these upsets, I can like talk myself into it. Like I can talk myself into certain teams being upset. I could even talk myself into Thieves being upset by a few teams. But there is just no world. I mean, I'm trying to pull up the stats here for even like their map splits. So like I'm trying to even pull up like a veto process, but we know it doesn't work because they can't beat them. But like, what is their so
They've only won like one map in the last like 5
Carolina,
games.
Carolina banned Skyline HP and LAT banned Protocol HP.
yeah, and like they've yeah, their auto veto before, or mostly their auto veto was Skyline S&D for Carolina, and that's obviously not in the rotation anymore. But Carolina, I mean, overall is 27 and 25 in hardpoint, 25 and 15 in S&D, and then 15 and 17 in control. So they're terrible. I mean, well, I shouldn't say terrible, but compared to Thieves, they're terrible in control, which is where Thieves dominates, and they're a pretty good S&D team. Like the formula for them to somehow win this, if we just want to like make it a talking point, would be like obviously they have to win two S&Ds, and
Hmm.
it probably has to be winning a hardpoint because they're a much better hardpoint team than they are a control team, and it has to just be through like Dylan Rex being a god that we didn't expect. That's like the formula for them winning this.
Yeah.
Basically it. But I think all three of us are voting for Thieves there.
Yeah, I agree.
Which knocks Carolina. I got to move them down into the lower bracket. I almost forgot about that. And they go down to face Rocker, which champs implications for Rocker on the line there in a tough match. Then we've got this one's a true toss up. Miami versus Toronto. Both teams look very good. Toronto just beat Miami online. I would say Toronto overall, obviously on the year, been a little bit better, but Miami looks really, really good lately with the changes.
They sure do. The addition is super. Whole squad's playing better.
I guess like
But
potential land jitters here.
potential. I
I don't know,
still,
Brad. Well,
I
go ahead,
still,
Brock.
I still have an Ultra winning in a 3-2.
I feel like I'm leaning that way as well, but I don't.
Ooh.
Is the community leading Miami just because of how they look lately?
It might be.
I feel like Brad's our voice for the community. I feel like Brad
Yeah.
thinks like the community.
Yeah, I was definitely leading here. Miami. I'm not gonna lie.
That means I'm the tiebreaker, huh?
I guess so.
I was leaning Ultra as well, but I really don't know where to go. I feel like I might be letting the recent Ultra win cloud my judgment. I mean, like in terms of vetoes here, I want to look at that as well. Ultra's vetoes, because I feel like I know, but I want to just confirm before I move on. It's also weird because like with Miami, like vetoes can change when a player changes. You might
Mhm.
feel a lot more comfortable. Like he might have come from challengers feeling super comfortable on a certain map that the team didn't feel comfortable on, and then all of a sudden, he brings that in, and they look a lot better on it. I mean, it's hard to take their record, per game mode for the whole year, like we said, because of roster change. But they're 26 and 22 in hardpoint, 17 and 20 in S&D, and then 9 and 18 in control. They like to play Hacienda. That's been their control pick as much as Vault, even though it's probably really wasn't played much at all in Major One. I bet you if you looked at the vetoes there, they picked it a lot more recently.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm gonna go with Ultra with you, so I think we'll move Ultra on, but it's a much harder of a pick.
Than we would think.
Than
Heading
I
into
than
Yeah,
I would say like I it's not like the pick. I certainly see why you pick Miami, and I definitely think we could be wrong on this.
I
But we're
definitely think
moving
that.
Ultra on.
I think this is like the most exciting match of the day, or of the
That or
winners bracket.
I like that Vancouver Phase match still too.
That's true.
That
That's
match
gonna
is
be
really
a
good.
banger.
Both I honestly I mean, I like watching Carolina just because I like the team, but that's definitely the snoozer of the day, I think.
Yeah. We already know
Because
the
I think the other
outcome.
because even Boston Optic should be a really competitive series. Like that one, I have no idea who's going to win it either.
Yeah, then that one's definitely more of a toss up.
Which moves us on to our next series: Boston versus Optic. Um, Boston look really good. Like I don't know, how do you? I guess I want to get Brad's thoughts on Boston overall as a team, especially lately, because Brock and I just like constantly hate on this team, and it's not because I think they're like terrible. They just I don't know. I just feel like their ceiling is so low in my head.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't, so like their sub duo, like obviously Snoopy's. I think he's one of the like shining stars, up and coming guys in the league. I think he's extremely talented. He's kind of like showing out this year. Purge, I think he's an online merchant. That's just me though. And then this is not Cold War, so Cammy's not exactly, I'd say, very useful. So like I don't know. I agree with you as far as like I think their ceiling is very limited. Um, but if Purge can prove me wrong as far as being an online merchant, like I just text OpTic is just like initially like my heart was like you got to go OpTic here. It's on land. Shottzyy, he's a dog. Dashy's a dog. Skies will figure it out. He's won on land before, and um, I just I feel like Breach wins this one. Honestly, I just feel like OpTic just has nothing going for them. They have no flame right now. I feel like they're just so I don't know. The
It
vibes are
seemed
low. I guess.
it seemed like it was turning early on in this stage.
Yeah.
They had a 2-0 weekend. It seemed like okay, like they're figuring it out. And like I know Skies and Dashy isn't maybe like the best fit on paper, but like the two of them are world champs, and like I still think they can figure it out enough to be a solid team. But it's been rough. I don't know, like something in my head still wants me to pick OpTic in the series because I just think on land they catch momentum. And I agree with you. I think Purge won't play it. I mean, I don't think he's dropping a 1.5 or a 1.6 or whatever like he did against Cloud9.
No, he's not. That's for sure.
So you're leaning Boston here, Brad?
Yeah.
I still feel like it's a smart pick. I mean, the veto advantage, like, what are they? Optics control vetoes are basically just like spread evenly. Boston really likes to veto Hasi, so we're probably getting Hasi out. And then I don't know Optic. I think this Optic team likes to play protocol more. Breach's number one pick is Vault. Optic's number one pick is Vault, but I think with Skies they might like protocol more. So I feel like we're gonna see a protocol or a Vault control.
Hmm.
In terms of S&D, Optics vetoes are kind of all over the board, pretty spread out. Um, Boston really likes to veto protocol in Vault. I feel like we're going to see like a Hasi and a Rewind maybe. In terms of the S&Ds, Optic really likes to veto red card. Boston's kind of on that same wave, a pretty spread out veto there. So I don't really know where we're going to go in terms of the hard point, but I don't know, Brock. You're gonna have to break this one up. I'm leaning towards Optic in this series, and I have no other reason besides I just think on land their players are just gonna outslay Boston and find a way to get the win. I don't know that's gonna be the prettiest win. I think I could see it going game 5, but I'm leaning towards Optic.
Yeah, to me, if I'm picking between these players on land, I'm definitely picking the Shotzies, Dashies over the Purges of the world, the Purges, Awakening, Cammy. I just don't believe in this boss team on land as much as they did beat these last major, but who knows how much that like a fluke that may have been.
I know. I guess that means we're moving on Optic. I don't. Once again, just like the last series, I don't feel overly confident in that, and I like that we're picking different also because it's going to give us a point of view where like we can actually post Brad's bracket. Um, After the fact, we can post your and I's bracket, and like this is exactly kind of the reason why I think going forward it could be an interesting perspective to have because Brock and I have picked the same on every single one, and Brad split apart from us twice.
Yeah.
So it's I put Breach in the wrong spot there. What am I doing? I put Breach in the spot of the winner of Phase Surge. That's just not correct. Um, but I think moving forward, that could be something that's interesting because Brad's already differing in opinion on us on every single one, basically, except the one that you really can't differ. If you would have differed on the Carolina LAT one, I might have just removed you from the call.
Yeah, and I would have understood that. That would have been good. That probably would have been a
Oh
good decision.
Yeah,
yeah. I would hope Shotzi, Dashy can outdo what Snoopy and like Awakening and Cammy.
Hey, you never know. Maybe Big Wake has a legacy series.
Uh,
he did. He had a random one against Thieves, right? He was the one that really popped off against Thieves at the last major when they won,
yeah,
right? Or am I thinking of that wrong?
I believe
I thought it
so.
was him. Anyways, the next series, Surge Phase, but also like I will say, kind of to your point, like you need to see Dashy, shottzyy, Skies, these veteran players. Granted, there are some veterans on the Boston side, but you need to see these players out duel a team like Boston on land. I fully agree with that, and I might be at the point, depending on how this looks and depending on if they do lose, how like the rest of their run looks like. I might be at the point where I'm just fully out on having any faith in OpTic even turning this around into a top 6, top 4 potential placing here at the final few events if they end up losing to this Boston team. Because I'm not saying Boston's bad. They went 4-1 online. Boston is a solid team. Whether I have faith in them or not, they're a solid team.
Yeah.
But like if you're OpTic with the players in your team, you have to be beating Boston. Like not saying they will, but like that is a bare minimum. You have to be taking out Boston if you're OpTic with this roster on paper.
Yeah.
And
No
to your
reason. There's
point
no
of saying
reason
like,
why he couldn't.
Yeah.
and to your point of saying like the veterans, like when you look at the names of like the veterans, like you got Cammy Big Wake, and then Skies, Dashy, and shottzyy, like I mean, you just gotta expect more out of that roster. You have to.
Yeah, I mean, second round here, we have them moving on. Second round against a team like a Vancouver or a Faze, can totally see, where the hiccup could come there because they are the underdog in that matchup. But like technically on paper, I suppose, based on seeding and based on how they've been playing in this split, they're the underdog to Boston, but they can't be. They cannot be thinking in their head that they're the underdog to this Boston team. I mean, when shottzyy lines up, when a sub duo of shottzyy and huke line up and the other side of the stage has Purge and Snoopy, there's no world where you can convince me that they should be the underdog. Like they should be beating that team all day, every day.
Yeah.
All right. My opinion, my most my most excited to watch match of the first round, Surge versus Faze. It's a rematch of our last majors grand finals where Faze, they handled business pretty easily against Surge 4-0 in that finals, but Surge had an awesome run to the finals. Neptune continues to show that it wasn't a fluke. I love it because what a redemption story. I really like as I speak right now in my head, I'm trying to come up with exactly who I want to pick. This is a tough one. Again, this is a really, really tough one. Like Faze are the two-time defending champs. It feels like maybe they're due for a loss on land
Feels
because it's
like
been
it.
how long? It's been how long now? What is it since like champs? Last champs was the last time they lost on land a
Yeah.
series because they won every series at. It was started with the Esports World Cup and they won everything in Major One, everything in Major Two. They have yet to drop a series on land. It feels like they might be due in a weird way. Like they've won that many in a row. They look a little vulnerable right now. Like I don't know. What do you think? They drop one. We'll go Brock first.
Me, it's hard to pick against these two teams, but I think it's gonna go. I think it's going game 5.
I hope. I really hope so. I don't want to see like a random 3-0 where one team comes out hot. I want this one to be a game 5 grueler.
Yeah, I want to as close as you can. Maybe not quite round 11, game 5, round 11, but I think Vancouver comes out on top.
You think so? I mean,
Yes.
looking at the vetoes, they both like to veto Hacienda control. Vault's up next. It seems like they're going to play a protocol. In terms of the control, tough to see where they're going to go. It's not going to be a Hacienda S&D. Looks like just based on how we've seen Faze veto all year, but
Yeah.
maybe we play a Vault S&D in there. Like we've seen these teams square up a few times now. You're leaning towards Vancouver.
I am.
I like the pick just because it does feel like Faze are destined to. I don't know. It feels like they're destined to just like lose a match early potentially, just because like they do look for the first time they look a little bit vulnerable since I guess the first time since early in the year when they were playing poorly.
Mhm.
But we haven't seen them look vulnerable too much on land. They've been so good. Brad, are you on the Surge train or do you think Faze?
I'm honestly thinking Faze. I don't know. It's just like Vancouver. They went 3-2, 3-2 against Cloud9 and Carolina. Um, they've lost both the first hard points, which I know that Faze has been struggling with the HPs as well. It's just like I feel like they split the HPs, and then honestly, like I feel like Faze takes. I think Faze wins 3-2. But I think they split the HPs. I think more than likely, Surge will probably take the first S&D, but then I think it's kind of a toss up from there.
Oh, you're
I,
hurting me. I really wanted you to pick Surge.
oh.
I didn't want to make the decision because I have no idea who I want to pick. I didn't want to make the decision. Uh and like Surge's like win loss is so tough to even look at on the year because like that first half of the year is fake. It's not their current team.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it's so tough to look at, and I like both storylines. Like I like where your head's at, Brock, with like Surge come out and like they lost to him last time on LAN, and like I think they could take them out, and like Faze seems due to lose one just due to the fact that they're struggling in HP right now. I also think they could fix it on LAN. I feel like whatever team wins this is gonna cakewalk to the winners finals. So getting this one wrong feels like the most catastrophic thing for your bracket, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
I think if you get Miami and Toronto wrong, it doesn't really matter because I think Thieves is beating either one
Yep.
personally. And then I think if you get OpTic Boston wrong, it's the same thing. I think Vancouver or Faze, whoever wins is winning that. I think we're on a collision course for a Thieves versus the winner of the Vancouver Faze winners final, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys feel any different, but I think we're on a collision course for that.
Yeah, looking like that.
Um, so I I'm gonna go. This is so bad. I'm gonna go with Vancouver. I don't feel confident. I like the idea that Vancouver's able to finally pull off the upset because FaZe looks vulnerable. And I know we're going to be sitting here on Monday regretting this because FaZe is going to have won the tournament without dropping the series. So we're going to regret it. It's just bound to happen. FaZe just have a way of doing that. But we're going bold. We're going with a crazy bracket. And it just looks so wrong that OpTic's advancing and FaZe isn't. But I don't know. I still might pick FaZe to win the tournament. They're just gonna
Personally,
go.
like,
They're gonna go for the three-peat through losers.
yeah, I just, I don't know. It comes down to me as like, I feel like both teams are kind of like not. I don't know if struggling is the right word because like, well, they're struggling to a point, but they're still both like easily top four teams. Um, I just feel like Phase is just gonna be more icy, and on land, like
Mhm.
I can't go against a BZ and Simp. I just can't
Yeah,
go against them on land.
it is tough. I still feel wrong picking against them. Although, like, there are times when in the past, Brock knows there are times in the past where I've felt like the random like thought in my head that FaZe is gonna lose in a winners round one. FaZe is gonna lose in a winners round one. They're gonna lose early, and I end up picking against it, and then it's the one time FaZe does lose early, and I'm like, damn, I really wish I would have done it. Uh,
Mhm.
so I guess I'm doing it this time, and I still this might be spoiler, at least for me, but I still haven't ruled out FaZe to win the tournament in my head yet. Like
Yeah.
I think that would be also kind of poetic and funny if they end up getting a three-peat, which no team has done in quite some time. If they end up getting a three-peat and it's off a losers round one, run all the way back,
That would be
it could be
insane.
very interesting.
Good losers
Yeah,
potentially.
yeah, through losers would be crazy. I mean, we just saw it this weekend in Halo.
We did.
Formal and the boys on OpTic, they dropped to losers round one and they went all the way back, won the tournament through losers round one. We don't need to talk too much about Halo, but shout out to Formal, another win. That dude's undeniable.
Shout out Formo.
um,
Two best of sevens. One.
yeah, 4-0, and it was the classic. You 4-0, and then just a grueler. They're up 3-2.
Yep.
Go to a Map 5 Slayer, which nothing. I'm a Halo kid, so I still like watching it, but I love a Map 5 Slayer. So fun.
Yeah. I don't really watch Halo, but I definitely tuned in and watched that. It was pretty nice
Halo's
to
fun to
watch.
watch. Even I don't know the competitive because I only play competitive Halo in like Halo 3 and some of Reach, and I wasn't all that great. But like I don't know. I haven't watched too much Halo over the course of my life that like competitively that I know too much about it. But I still like I know the basics still, and like I know some strategy and like the way the game's played. And I love watching Halo, especially like Sunday Halo when it's just the top teams because it seems like in Halo even more than COD, like there is a little bit more of a consistent way to play the game. So like your top
Yeah.
teams do seem to get through a lot more. So you always seem to get the top teams battling on Sunday, which is super entertaining. Then we
Most
got
definitely.
Carolina, Minnesota, and losers, Brock.
Ooh, I don't want to pick this one.
Yeah, I
I'll
don't
pick
either.
this one.
All right,
Give me Minnesota all day.
Brock.
I know, it's bold, but it's like I'm not
We
gonna lie.
give
I was a Vegas Legion fan, so like Geo and Nero are my boys. I
I
love
don't.
them.
I don't think anything in this matchup is too bold. I think there's a. I mean, Minnesota are 1-4 in this split, but they lost 3 game fives. Like
yeah.
2 of them around 11. Like Minnesota has been on the verge of like there's a world where Minnesota is. I mean, they're 4-1.
Yeah.
They're 2-3 and they're in winners. I mean, there's a world where Minnesota's in winners if they just clutch up one of those game fives. Just one of them, they're in winners.
Mm-hmm. Just one game 5, one and they're in. I personally have the Carolina Ravens winning 3-1.
Yeah, that's probably a smart pick, but I'm gonna go with Brad. I'm finally disagreeing with you, Brock.
Fair, that's fair. I don't
Like,
honestly. Whoever wins it's fine by me.
whoever wins this is who I'm cheering for to make a lower bracket run. To be honest, I'll move
Yeah.
Minnesota on for fun. I think Carolina. I guess my argument is Minnesota. Dylan Rex first major tournament on LAN on a pro team. Nerves kick in. I've said this entire time. I think that this Minnesota team is going to be a really good LAN team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much that translated if they're even able to win because Carolina is certainly not a shoe in to lose this match, and I think Carolina is probably the favorite.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm gonna move Minnesota on, vote with Brad, but it's probably a bold pick, and you can spam the bias in the comments. You know I'm picking it because I want to see Kenny at champs. But there is a realistic path here with the way that we have this shaking out. There is a realistic path, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Funny enough that the winner of this match goes to top 4, makes it to Sunday because they play if they win this, Miami is not an unbeatable team. And then they would play the loser of Surge OpTic, which is probably OpTic, who are looking vulnerable now as well. So this team's path could be like a Miami, who is already knocked into losers, and then an OpTic team to make it to Sunday. Like it's not the most impossible path to a top 4,
Yeah.
especially because you're playing OpTic for top 4, who isn't looking the best right now.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to the other one where you're probably where on the bottom you're playing the loser of Thieves Ultra. That's a lot tougher.
Yeah.
Thieves and Ultra are both much better than OpTic right now.
Most definitely.
Next losers match, I mean, it's Miami, it's LAG. Brock, are you picking your boys?
No, I give it up. Give me Miami 3-0. I'm done with the
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, it only took you 4 years to be done with them. I'm on that trade too. I'm on Miami. So Brad, I mean, are you picking Miami as well? I'm moving them
Yeah.
on.
I'm thinking Miami like 3-1.
Yeah, 3. Wow, you're giving LAG a map. That's more respect than
I
I'm
am.
giving them.
Yeah.
It's so nice, Brad.
I know.
All right. Boston Falcons, Brock. This, I mean,
Rematch.
I don't know, man. I'm just at this point. I think I have to just be a Boston hater because I stare at that Falcons logo and I want to pick them so bad.
You stare
But
at it. I'm picking it 3-2 game 5. They're winning this time.
I'm picking the Falcons as well.
so I guess I have no say in the matter. I like it though. I at this point I just have to embrace the Boston hater thing, which is actually bad because I actually like the players in the team. Always like Wake. I've always liked Cammy. Uh,
Yeah.
Purge. I still have nightmares of his play on Invasion.
It's ingrained in my brain.
It's ingrained in my brain that Invasion Search play last year, but this is probably gonna backfire on us. But I don't know. Is it because like this tournament's in Florida? Like the crowd is going to be loud for Falcons. I know
Yeah.
COD, and I've been to a lot of events, been to like a lot of crowd interaction, seen a lot of the way crowds get behind teams. Vegas, it is going to be loud for Vegas.
Yeah.
Crowd is going to be booing Boston.
I mean,
Brett-
Vegas, they got some players on the team that know how to win in the
Got some
past.
veterans, and like they also have players that are like Arcitys is still a popular player. Pred, obviously, with his time
Mhm.
on OpTic, is a popular player. Exnet is extremely popular in the community because he just seems like a good kid and people like rooting for him.
Yep.
And obviously Priesta, another really popular player. Like this team, they are going to have the fans on their side and they're going to ride some momentum.
Oh yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
And
I don't know. I feel like Exon and Pred, like I feel like those two guys especially are the type of people. Pred I know is, but like I feel like they just like feed off of the fans, and if like they're gonna be as loud as you say, yeah, they might be an unstoppable duo. Those two.
I think also like they just probably feed off each other's energy too. Like that's a
Yeah.
contagious energy that you play with. However, that energy is going to die pretty quickly because they probably play Faze.
Yeah.
in losers round 2, which unless I mean I'm picking Faze. I'm already gonna copy and paste him. I'm assuming 2 of you aren't picking Cloud9.
No, definitely
Uh,
not. Not
I'm
against
definitely picking
Faze.
Faze.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Faze
that's
3-0.
I think Faze
Cloud
3-0 Cloud9, yeah.
Cloud9, yeah. Make a change, probably. Or
Yeah.
not.
I think they'll probably be looking to make a change, a desperation change to try to make it to champs. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
though, so many changes have been made. It's like, is there really anybody out there that can make too much of a difference? You don't know.
Yeah. I don't really follow channels, but I don't know who else is really out there.
Yeah, Johnny was the one SMG I really wanted somebody to pick up because he looked good, and uh, obviously that's not an option anymore. For some reason, he went to LAG. Let's do
Yep.
our next losers matches here, which we got Rocker Miami. I want you two to go first because I honestly, if you both pick Miami, I'll probably just pick Rocker just to say I sided with Kenny.
Rocker Miami. I want to lean more towards Miami just the way how they're they're kind of playing, but
Yeah, they look a lot better right now. That's for sure.
Yeah.
they do. But I just don't want to bet against Kenny on land. So
Do
I'm
it.
gonna,
Just
I'm gonna. It's
what are you
tough.
going with?
I'm picking Rocker. Game 5.
Oh
I hope.
shoot. I honestly have no idea because like I'm gonna be honest. If Ultra came down there, I'm picking Rocker all day. But
Really?
Over
Miami,
Ultra.
yeah, oh yeah.
See, I feel
I
I feel the
Freeze.
I
I
feel
feel the
opposite.
opposite.
I was gonna say
Oh.
I feel opposite. I feel like there's a world in my head where I can see Minnesota beating Miami, but still like Miami deserves to be the favorite and deserves to be like
Yeah.
the pick in more brackets. I would say. Would you, even though you're picking Minnesota, would you agree with that, Brock? Like Miami is certainly the favorite in this. Like
Yeah.
they're the better team. It would be an upset if Rocker win this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But for me, if Ultra's down here, I'm picking Ultra for sure. Even though I love Rocker and I lean the other way. I think if Ultra was down here, I'm picking them over Minnesota.
Yeah. Even though Miami's been playing good and all that, I still think Ultra's a little bit better than Miami.
And we picked Rocker to go top 6 in that first one and beat Boston. And remember, we got flamed for that pick.
It did.
I had a guy like harassing me on Twitter and in the YouTube comments for that pick, and Boston ended up getting top 12, and Minnesota did get the top 6 that we predicted. Where are you leaning, Brad? Then I'll make my pick from there.
I'm honestly, uh, I gotta go Miami. It's like my heart is telling me Minnesota, but like this is like based off of logic and like my brain, I feel like Miami's the right pick.
I would tend to agree with you, but I want to just make it chaotic.
I like it. I like it.
So I'm going with Minnesota. I'm moving them on. I still think I've been saying it the entire split when they've been losing online. I think this team's going to be a land team, and I think like they have. I don't think. I know they have a lot more to lose than Miami. Like Miami loses this, okay, back to the drawing board, get it together for Major 4. Minnesota, you lose this, you only get 10 points or whatever. Your champs' hopes are really, really, really looking really slim. And would be a beneficial win for them also because like Boston in this case in our bracket is eliminated. Cloud9 is eliminated. 2 teams they're in direct competition with eliminated. We're going for the upset. We're just making this an upset bracket. Miami, this is probably going to be so wrong because Miami is like they look really good right now and it's
They
their
do.
home major, but screw it, Minnesota.
Thank you for doing what I couldn't.
Yeah, it's tough. The next one though, I think Faze continue their perfect losers bracket. I think Faze are going to 3-0 Falcons.
I'm with
I
you.
have that as well.
Yeah,
Ooh, 3-0.
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe they get a map, maybe, but like
Yeah.
Faze,
3-1.
they're gonna roll them.
I don't think Faze are gonna play Skyline anymore.
No,
Against Falcons.
no, they won't play the bang out map. Although I still think if they played Skyline, they'd probably beat them on land. We'll see though.
Yeah.
LAT Ultra loser goes down to play Faze. What a brutal group of 3 there. I still got LAT in this one. I do think this one goes the distance. Ultra did beat them. We had Joe screaming. I got dropped from that at them, but I think Thieves get their revenge. I think Thieves take them out. I feel like Thieves are going to be, I don't know, they're going to come a little different this event, I think, just based on the fact that, like, there's been a lot of talk about them. Are they onliners? Are they whatever? I mean, I think we all know they're truly not. It's just been weird. Like, Doesn't seem like the urgency's been there on land, and I think they're going to come with that urgency this time. I got Thieves beating Ultra.
I also have Thieves being Ultra.
Honestly, me too.
It's just, I don't know. It's so tough to pick against them, but it's not impossible. Ultra can certainly win this.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw it at the last event. Ultra
I
took out
hope
Thieves. Like,
I hope this one goes 3-2, map 5.
yeah, there's definitely, I think there's a good chance it goes map 5. That
Yeah.
makes Ultra go down to play Faze, which, whew, brutal match there. Then we've got Oh God, I just realized what we just did. Oh, this is bad. I just realized that that means we're gonna have OpTic or Minnesota in Sunday.
Ooh.
Yeah, we might have messed up. This bracket's gonna get cooked. I
Nah.
love it. We're gonna have the engagements on YouTube. I have anybody in the YouTube comments. I just realized what I did by picking Minnesota over Miami, and I feel really bad because this bracket is gonna look really weird with OpTic or OpTic or Minnesota
Yeah.
on Sunday. I just realized why this is ugly. This is bad. Because who really should have been here? I guess probably Miami. Ooh, that's bad. That's gonna be funny. It's gonna be a funny top 4 screenshot. Wow, Thieves, Phaser Ultra, and then just randomly Minnesota or OpTic are just. It's like the meme with like the soldiers, where it's like 3 soldiers and a clown.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I'll be honest though, I have Surge handling OpTic pretty easily in this match.
Same here, 3-1.
Are you with that, Brad, or were you picking OpTic? I mean, you could just blindly say you're picking OpTic.
Yeah, I'll blindly go OpTic. I feel like, just to like back it up, they gain a little momentum. Maybe Surge stumbles a little bit. The championship pedigree of Skies, Dashy, and shottzyy kind of shine through. Maybe OpTic upsets. I don't know. I'm going OpTic.
I will say I do think Surge are due for a little bit of an upset on land because of
Yeah.
how good they played with this roster at the last event. I just don't think OpTic's that team. Once again,
Agreed.
it's a team full of veterans, and they could do it. Like if this match happens and OpTic does win, I won't be like completely shocked, but I don't know. I don't think OpTic's gonna win that one.
Mhm.
Which leaves us with OpTic versus Minnesota for a chance at Sunday. If this match happens, would be huge for champs because whatever team they're both on the brink. Obviously, OpTic in a better position than Minnesota, but they're both on the brink of making or missing champs. So this would be huge for them to make it to Sunday and collect a bunch of points there. Brad, where are you leaning for Minnesota versus OpTic?
Minnesota. I think Nero
Really?
has one of the. I think Nero has one of those series where he just goes ballistic.
Yeah, he's been on and off lately, but he does have those series randomly, and I do feel like he's a player that plays up to OpTic.
Don't the casters have like a funny nickname for when he has those crazy matches, crazy maps?
What were they saying? I think they were saying something about him just basically blacking out.
Oh.
Like, I can't remember. I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember what they said.
I thought they called them like spasms or something. Like
Yeah,
Nero
something like that.
spasms. Yeah.
He just like randomly pops 3 pieces, and then they were talking about that. Like he'll pop a 3-piece and then just go on a 6 death streak. It was what I was talking about. I forget what series it was. I think it was in this split where he dropped like a 0.9, but it was like the most 1.4, 0.9 I've ever seen. Like I swear every time they were on his POV, he was popping a 3-piece or an insane 2-piece. Then I just saw the stats at the end of the series and he had a 0.9. And I was like, that has to be a typo. Because I swear every time they were on his POV, he was doing something disgusting. And I was just like, yeah, he had a 0.9.
Yeah.
Brock, are you gonna just move Minnesota on, or are you leaning OpTic?
I'm thinking Minnesota.
Oh no! Oh no!
Any revenge? I don't care.
Oh, I can see the tweets now. I can see the tweets now. If you're tuning in, I promise we normally don't pick this wild. We actually usually have pretty accurate brackets for the most part.
Hey, you don't know it's not accurate yet.
I have a feeling. I'll say that. I have a feeling Minnesota's not making it Sunday. I hope they do.
I hope they do too.
This is a weird this top side of the bracket is really weird though, because like some really odd team is gonna make it to Sunday with the way like if Miami or Ultra get upset. Some really weird team. Like if they don't get upset, obviously like in this case, like Miami or Ultra, they roll on, and we get like a Phase, Thieves, Surge, and Ultra top 4, and that would be like, you know, that wouldn't be shocking at all. But like, if Miami does fall down and gets upset by a Rocker or a Ravens, we're gonna have like a Ravens, Rocker, OpTic, one of those teams in the top 4, which would be odd. I would say most people aren't thinking any of those teams are going to get top 4 uh, at this event. But I mean, I guess at that point, if this matchup happens and they're at a spot where they're playing for Sunday, I guess I do probably think Rocker comes out on top. But I don't know. They went Game 5, Round 11 last time. If they're both at this point where they are playing for a Sunday, OpTic probably has some momentum. So I guess I think maybe OpTic would win, but I don't know. I think regardless, I think Faze are going to beat Ultra. I think Faze are going to continue their run through lower bracket. I think they 3-0 Cloud9, 3-0 Vegas. I think they 3-1 Ultra in advance to Sunday.
Like that. I have a Phase winning a game 5 against Ultra.
All right, we're moving on. Brad, are you leaning Ultra or are you with us on Faze?
Honestly, I was kind of leaning towards Ultra.
You think Faze are going to go out top 6, going for the 3-peat?
I think, I don't know. I just feel like Joe Deceives and them boys are just they're kind of cooking right now. I don't know.
They are. It's so hard for me to.
I feel like
have
it's gonna be a
Faze not
really
making
good match.
Sunday. I just
Yeah,
can't
that's
have
true.
Faze not making Sunday.
Yeah.
And then in this next match, if you guys both pick Minnesota, I might have to just executive override as creator of the podcast that I have Phase 3-0 over Minnesota. Do it.
I'll give Minnesota a map. I'll give
Minnesota
Phase
3-2.
Okay, you're only picking that for the
No,
you're only picking that because it doesn't matter at that point.
correct.
And then Thieves Surge. I mean, Surge had a chance to make it through winners finals last time, weren't able to do so. I picked Thieves to win the last tournament, come through winners. I'm gonna go Thieves. I think Thieves are really gonna come with more urgency, and that's really the missing piece for them. They need to come with more urgency on land. It seems like I think Thieves are gonna take out Vancouver in this one. I got them in a. I think it'll go game 5, but I think Thieves take them out.
Brad, what do you have?
This is a tough one for me. I feel personally like Thieves is gonna win it. Honestly, I just feel like you said, I feel like there's a lot of pressure on them. I don't know. I just feel like Hydra and Scrap they're gonna finally just like, I don't know. They're just gonna will themselves to win. I feel like there's no room for to lose with all the stuff going around.
Yeah, I mean, Thieves at the bare minimum have to make a final at this tournament.
Yeah.
Like, you have to make the final, and honestly, like every tournament for the way that roster is constructed and the price of that roster and the players in that roster, every tournament they don't win is really a failure for them. Like they go into every tournament expecting to win, and they haven't been able to do so yet.
Yep.
I will say though, it was pretty funny watching Nadeshot lose his mind.
Yeah, his crash shots are legendary.
There are.
So we both went Thieves. So Brock, I mean, I want to hear your pick, but we're moving Thieves on.
I'm picking Thieves at a game 5, like you had.
Yeah, I'm not going to be surprised if Vancouver win. I will say that though. I don't think it's like a lock, but I like Thieves to win that one, which moves Vancouver down into the losers final against Faze, where I have Faze winning 3-1.
Same here. You stole my prediction.
Brad, you liked
Jeez, guys.
You like Vancouver before. You think I don't like picking against Faze, and I think they're gonna have a legendary run from losing round 1 to the championship.
Yeah, that's true. It is like, I don't know. Every single time I see a BZ and Simp, you're right. It's just so hard to bet against them. But I don't know, man. I think Abuza and 04 and Neptune. I think I think they take it from them this time.
I think the 4-0 on last finals is just stuck in my head.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I just can't get that out of my head, and I want the rematch. I'll be honest. I want the red rematch, the Thieves versus Faze. I want that matchup, and I'm gonna go last in this one. I want to hear what you guys think in a best of 7. I want to hear. Let's hear Brad first. Where do you go in our final? We have Thieves Faze. Where do you lean on that one? I mean, the last time we saw these two play in the finals, it went all the way to a game 7, round 11, and Faze took them out. on Skyline, which doesn't exist anymore. I mean, I know who I want to pick in this, and I have my reasons for it, but I want to hear what you guys have to say first.
I think like this one is pretty easy for me. I don't exactly have a lot of faith in LAT, so I'm going Faze.
I think
Oh,
Faze go for the three-peat. Okay.
Yeah, I do.
okay, okay. See, I filled my bracket in up until this grand finals, and I have a 3-3 right now, and I just
Oof.
don't really know who to pick.
In your own individual bracket, did you have these two teams in finals?
Yes, in my own
Okay.
individual.
We'll have, and like I said, if you guys didn't hear that part, we'll fill in. We'll do. I'll have Brad's bracket because obviously he picked different teams. Brock and I we picked different teams, so we'll post each person's bracket. I'll post it probably in the YouTube community if I can figure out a clean way to do that, and I'll also post it on Twitter. Um, and we'll go from there, so you can see like actually like with obviously our bracket was influenced by people picking 2-1 on certain ones, so we'll post that somewhere, but. I mean, Brock, you can leave the decision on to me and take thieves, or you can go face.
I just think Faze they already won together a bunch of times. I just think thieves are. I think they're just gonna take it this time with the team they have and win one.
Oh, you're leaving it up to me. Um, I like the logic behind it. It's usually how I go because it's so hard to win three in a row. For the side of phase, I might even change my bracket.
And LAT's just chasing for that win together.
I think I think I'm gonna agree with you. I think I'm gonna go thieves simply from the fact that phase their hard point looks shaky right now, and
Hmm.
I think that they could fix it on land. I think that they could. But I think Thieves, I still like Thieves, I think will be able to win the controls. There's two of them in a best of seven, which I still don't agree with. I think it should be um, another hard point. But I think Thieves are going to be able to win the controls. I like Faze still in the S&Ds overall, but I think just like with Faze's shakiness and hard point, I think Thieves are going to be able to take more hard points in the series. Like, I don't know. I think they'll be able to take consistent hard points and controls. And I think they're gonna find a way to win. I like him like 4-2 or 4-3. This whole time I thought I was gonna pick the legendary losers run for Phase to win it all. I do think I am gonna uh go to the side of Thieves. I don't feel super confident though. You might see all of a sudden I tweet out the brackets and I change my mind to Phase, but for now I'm going Thieves.
Yeah, it's really just like a toss up between the two teams.
It truly is. It's who's shooting on the day because I feel like if this matchup is played 10 times in the finals, it's probably like a 5-5 split.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no team like FaZe are going for the legendary losers round one run to win it, go for a three-peat. Thieves have a lot of pressure on them, and Thieves don't have an easy route because they have to play Miami or Toronto, who are playing really well right now, and then they probably play either Surge or FaZe in winners final.
Hmm.
So they definitely don't have an easy route there. After we assume they beat Carolina, now watch Thieves all of a sudden lose to Carolina or something.
Yeah.
But this bracket's wild. I promise. Usually we don't do too many crazy things on the bracket, but wow, we went crazy with Minnesota. Um, so please roast us down below, roast us for your bracket, pick your bracket. But I can't wait till they make it to Sunday somehow, and we just have them making it there. That'd be hilarious. Um, but that's it for the bracket. Gonna switch it on over here to the CDL, the trivia, the compare. That's how we're gonna end the episode. Um, Pulling up the first one, boys. Which has a higher first blood percentage this season, Geo or Attach?
Ooh. I'm.
I
I
feel
think
like
I'm leaning.
Geo.
For
I feel
me,
like
I think I'd attach.
I was thinking Attach too. I feel like he doesn't have as many like first. I don't know. I don't know. I want to go with Attach too. We'll 2-1 Attach. It was Attach. 0.63 to 0.49 over Geo. Who has a higher hardpoint engagements per 10 minutes this season, Nero or Celium? That feels like a bait, doesn't it?
It does.
It's like, I mean, that seems like it should obviously be Celium, no? I mean,
Yeah.
sorry. I said that wrong. That seems like it should obviously be Nero,
Nero.
right? More engagements per 10.
But
You'd think.
some has been speeding up.
I know. I feel like just out of principle, we have to pick Nero, and I feel like this is a trick question.
I'm
Are you guys
down.
down to pick Nero on that?
I feel like it's Nero. Yeah.
Let's do it.
It was Nero. Okay, it wasn't a bait. 52.45 to 45.8. That just felt
Okay.
like a bait because Nero is like one of the fastest players in the league, and selling him, like you're right though, he has been speeding up this year, but like that felt like a bait. All right,
Oh,
which
this
has a
one.
higher hardpoint OBJ per 10, Simp or Vivid?
Is this like
Oh,
this is oh this
this is
is
just hill
difficult.
time for the stat, right?
I believe so.
I would think so.
I want to
Or
say
do
it's like
those
I want
like
to say it's
plants and diffuses though?
no, it's just hardpoint.
Oh, okay.
Hardpoint objective.
I want to say it's Simp for some reason. I feel like you're supposed to think it's Vivid. I want to say it's Simp. Simp does sit in the hill from time to time.
I feel like yeah, simp or
So
is
let's do it.
it? That's a simp.
It is Simp by about 11 seconds,
Yeah.
which is a
Simp has
higher
been
number. Oh my god, Brock, this is a. Oh no, this is bad. The next one is which has a higher number of hardpoint kills, and it's a game we didn't, or sorry,
hardpoint
not kills,
hills.
hardpoint hills, and it's a game we didn't really play, and that's IW throwback. I remember
Is
the
it,
map. It's the map with the bowling alley.
is Beggar 4 and
So
the
Bagra,
boy
I'm
map
trying.
5?
Okay, Brad, you played El Bagra for hardpoint. So Matt
Yeah.
P1 was that like by the truck.
Yeah, it was a truck and then
Yeah,
it was the
P1 was
the
truck.
far back left
Yeah, then
area.
P2 was like
Far
the
back right.
gallows. And
Yeah,
then P3 wasn't P3 the
there was
It was
five. There
it
was
was
five.
yeah, there was 5 because P3 was like that other like statue. P4 was in the boat, and then wait, was there a P5 though?
Yeah, so there was P1 was the truck, P2 was like the gallows, you're right, and then
Uh-huh.
P3 went to like the backside, the other
Yeah,
side
the
of the map where it
statue
was like
thing.
where it was really hard to break, and then
Mm-hmm.
P4 went to that inner room next to the gallows, and then P5
Yep.
was out at that statue in the middle of the
Yep.
map. So there was 5.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah,
And
there's 5.
so I'm gonna say that it has to be Bagger because there was never more than 5 until MW2 with like hotel and stuff. So I'm gonna say it
Mhm.
has to be Bagger. Then I'm gonna guess that Throwback had only 4 because we didn't play IW much. I remember the map has the baseball field and the bowling alley and everything.
Yeah.
But I'm
I
gonna
don't
say
give
it's
her
Bagger.
But
a few
yeah, I
hardpoint
feel like it's
bullets.
Bagger.
It has to be Bagger because they had a 5.
It's a
Yeah.
Beggar.
Yeah. So Throwback had 4. There we go. We're 4 for 4. This next one's not loading. Which has a higher S&D KD
Oh,
ratio, Kremp or Beans?
oh man, this I actually have no clue.
I want to say
Uh,
Beans.
that's what I was thinking initially as well.
Although I swear
Benjamin
Beans is on my
Beans.
in our fantasy league that we're in. I have Beans, and I swear his number's not that good for S&D. I don't know. You two can pick it.
Oh, for some reason I want to go cramp, but I don't want to be the one to get the one wrong.
I'm going
Don't leave it
Kremp.
up to me.
It was Kremp. Let's go. 1.16 to
What?
1.07.
Go.
All right, we're going for the perfect day. Which has a higher number of years since their last top 4 champs placing? Saints or Pharaoh? So I don't know. The picture for Pharaoh is accuracy and Joe.
Yeah,
The
that's just not the right
Yeah,
people.
and then Saints he's in that picture with apathy and slack. So I'm trying to think. Pharaoh had a top 4 place. He placed second at World War II champs, and that was the last champs he placed high in because in BO4 he bounced around. I don't think he got a top 4, and then unfortunately passed away after MW19. But in MW19, I think Florida fizzled out top 6. So World War II
Weird.
was, I think that's like a league. World War II was his last top 4. I'm pretty sure.
For
And then
Pharaoh?
Saints. So Saints, did he finish? He didn't finish top 4 in BO4, and he wasn't in the league at all in terms of like a starter.
Is it
And
Black Ops 3?
so I think it has to be higher years, more years. I think it has to be Saints, right? Because he didn't World War II and on. He never finished top 4.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's Saints.
Has to be Saints. Yeah, it is 8 years Infinite Warfare and then 7 years for Pharaoh. All right, we
Yeah.
went 6 for 6. We done good on this so far. We went 5 for 6 last week, 6 for 6 this week.
66, 100%.
There we go. That's gonna do it for this one. A little bit of a longer episode. It might trend like this a little bit if we have 3 people with input, but I think it was a fun episode. If you guys enjoyed this one, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on the audio platforms, drop a follow, drop a 5-star review. Just gonna be a little bit different moving forward as we figure everything out, but I think it's gonna be good. So let us know your thoughts down in the comments. Let us know your bracket. I mean, I'm thinking your bracket's probably going to be better than ours. I hope. Actually, I don't hope. I really do hope Minnesota makes top 4 because that means they're probably making champs. But thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next week after the major.